I have 100 days to catch the strongest Steel-type team ever, but I have a few goals to complete. The first is going to be catching a legendary Pokemon. The second will be catching a shiny Steel Pokemon, and finally, defeating one of the Pokemon gyms. Let's see how this plays out. I had to choose Piplup as the only starter that evolves into a Steel type. But from there, I ended up stealing everything I could from the village that I'd have loads of Pokeballs to catch Pokemon later on. Doing this, I then sold every item I could that wasn't a Pokeball and got loads of money. I then went around and killed every Pokemon I could that I was able to, like this Kakuna. I think of my first Pokemon being a Rookidee as it evolves later on into a Corviknight. Having a Corviknight would be great as I could be able to fly around everywhere then instead of doing this right now where I'm just running around. But to get that, I need to train up more, so I carried on killing Pokemon. After doing all this though, I end up catching another Pokemon, that being a Kufant, which can evolve into a Copajara. I then found this amazing looking biome as it's so cool. It's like a mesa slash with extreme hills and it's amazing looking. I couldn't believe it as well when I found a Beldum just chilling here. And it's the only pseudo legendary that is a Steel type. And look how many Pokeballs I started with. And when I finally caught the Beldum, I had barely any left. I literally had one Great Ball and then like 14 Pokeballs. There was nothing left. I ended up catching 2 Arum for some reason. I'm not sure, but it's okay. I then found this absolutely awesome looking village, and it's part of the new biomes mod as it's built into the mountains. I then found this Mega Boss Steelix, which apparently wanted to be a helicopter and thought it was a flying type. It just tried to take off. I think it wanted to take over the village, to be honest. I finally decided on a place to live as well, but before I could actually build anything here, I realized I needed to do some mining, so that's just what I did. I didn't get too much, I just got the basic things, so I got a bit of iron down here. I know it's the most entertaining thing, but there are a few steel types I can catch down here, like Clink. Those are the best steel type, Clink's still okay. But I got bored pretty quick, so I went back out exploring, as this new biomes mod is amazing. I also found a shiny Blitzum. Now, I know I have to catch a shiny Pokemon, but this isn't a Steel shiny, so I did the only humane thing, and that was just to end the Blitz, so I couldn't let it be around knowing that this was here. Soon after, though, my Piplup evolved into a Primplup, which got us one step closer to Empoleon. With Primplup as well now, we was able to catch a Scyther, and even though this Scyther isn't actually a Steel type, it evolves into a Scizor. I then decided I had to go mining for a lot more materials now, and I spent ages down here. I'm not going to show you guys all the mining though, because you're here for the Pixelmon, so this is my overall haul. With this now, I was able to go up to my base and build some more stuff, not before catching a Honedge though. And I also realized that with this Skarmory, I'm awful at throwing Pokeballs. And I was so close to actually hitting the Skarmory and catching it, able to fly around, but this Doduo got in my way, and then it flew back off. It did luckily though land back down somewhere, and I was able to capture the Skarmory in a quick ball. With the addition of Skarmory now, I can get around a lot more places. But I also found this Orthworm, which is the new Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet games. However, it ended up killing my entire team before I could capture it. I was close to this village though, and I was able to get my Pokemon healed back up. And I made it back to my base where I was able to place down loads of furnaces and also get down some chests so that I could keep my items away and not carry them around with me. I then started to explore back on Skarmory, and if you guys enjoy these 100 days with the type onlys, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know which type you want to see me do next. I knew at this point as well I wanted to find myself a legendary Pokemon, so I went to the forests and different biomes to see if I could find a steel type legendary. But what happened next was shocking for me. I didn't get a steel type legendary. I may have got the rarest legendary spawn on me, or catching an Orthworm, and Eternatus spawned on me. If only I was doing a Dragon or Poison run. I have never seen an Eternatus spawn in the wild, and this is crazy. I think it might be the rarest legendary to actually get to spawn in the wild. After saying goodbye to my friend the Eternatus though, I headed off to find some more Pokemon to catch. And I was exploring these new biomes, which were amazing. I even found a Sobble, which is a great starter Pokemon. But just looking at them from overhead with Skarmory was so beautiful to look at. These mountains were amazing. It might be one of my favorite biomes to look at. After running around for ages though, I was thinking about leveling my team. I wanted my Primple up a little bit higher, so I was fighting anything I could see. But then it ended up happening. While running through this birch forest, a Zacian spawned. I couldn't believe it. I ran around so frantically looking for it, and I was so excited to try and capture this Zacian. When I finally found the Zacian as well, it looked so cool. I got into a battle with it, but something happened. I ended up losing my entire team, just like the Beldum. So I had to catch it outside of battle. But while this was happening, a Virizion spawned, which was crazy. 2 legendaries at the same time. After a while though, I finally did catch the Zacian. And not only that, we still had the Virizion in the forest, and also there was a Mega Gallade. This birch forest had something in it, I swear. With that though, our first challenge is now complete. I ended up sleeping so that I could get my entire team healed up, and this way I can get back out on Skarmory to go exploring some more. I decided I would head back home straight away though from this and pull out Zacian. And if you guys think Zacian is the strongest steel type legendary, make sure you hit that like button, as it's so strong and it is such a good legendary Pokemon. I also realized there was a Mass Baloo at the bottom of my base, and it gave me an XP, which meant I could go into battles with just Zacian, and the rest of my team gets levels, so that's just what I did. Zacian doing this meant that I could finally evolve my Primple into an Empoleon. With Empoleon now, I can take on some stronger Pokemon. I found this Mega Kangaskhan, which is insane, but I end up losing the battle. Not before though leaving, I found a Raikou, another legendary Pokemon. Because it's a steel type, I end up taking out the Raikou and getting an XP for my team. It's also finding so many legendary Pokemon now, we just need to make sure they're steel types, as now with the XP, we can get a lot more XP and get stronger steel type Pokemon. My Honedge evolved into a Doublade off this battle as well, and then I end up heading into Ultra Space for the first time. While here, I decided that I'd be as many raid dens as possible to get as much XP candy and also rare candies as possible, basically off this Graveler and also off of this Mothim. But with these battles, I couldn't believe it, because while going to the next area, I found another shiny. But it was a Cubone. It's not a steel type again. I'm getting so unlucky with this. So I did the same as the Blitzo, and I ended up taking out the Cubone as I couldn't have it around. It pained me too much. Soon though, my Corvisquire evolved into a Corviknight, which means I can fly on it as well as Skarmory. I ended up losing this battle in Ultra Space, which sent me back to the normal realm. But while back here, I wanted to go exploring more, and I ended up finding this galactic base on top of the hill, which looked insane. There were these trainers in here, and I had to defeat all the galactic grunts. While defeating them though, I couldn't believe it, because I could catch so many more steel types here. There was a Magnemite, a Pineapple, which can evolve into a Fortress, and also this boss Roly-Coly. But it didn't stop there, as there was a Mega Boss Marwile. This is amazing, a steel type Mega Boss. If I defeat this, I can get his Mega Stone. However, I ended up losing the first time against it. But I had an emergency healer on me, which meant I could heal my Pokemon and give it another go. And on the second time round, I ended up defeating it, which gave me Marwile and also the chance to get the Mega Stone ring, which now means I can Mega Evolve any of my Pokemon if I get the right Mega Stone. I end up being every single Galactic Grunt, and it only left the Galactic Team leader. But he was a rare boss, and with that, his team was level 95. I stood no chance. I end up catching a Durant before heading out and leaving the Galactic base, though, another steel type for me. And I also caught an Alolan Sandshrew, which evolves into a Alolan Sandslash, which is an ice steel type. Then found the new pseudo-legendary Bridgerbat, which is amazing. But this is an ice dragon type, which means I can't actually capture it. I headed back into Ultra Space afterwards, though, and I found this Bishop raid den, which I ended up being. However, I got 3 rolls on the Bishop before it broke out, which meant I couldn't get the Bishop. While on Ultra Space again, though, I finally got my Metagross, which is amazing for me, because Metagross is so strong. I did end up getting myself out of Ultra Space after this, and I decided that I wanted to head home, as I've been out for quite a while, but I knew I wouldn't spend long at home. The main reason I wanted to get home is because I had an ice stone and I wanted to evolve my Alolan Sandshrew. So that's just what I did. And with that, I now have myself an Alolan Sandslash, which is one of my favorite Steel-type Pokemon. With this, I headed out to do some more exploring. And this trainer, I can understand having some pseudos, but I've never seen a random trainer have a legendary Pokemon like Latios, which is really weird to see. I went back to the mini gyms. I wanted to keep leveling and get some more Pokemon evolutions and also get my Sandslash up to level. I wanted to get Dialga now, but I needed Mesprit, Uxie, and also Azelf to complete this. Because with those three, I can create the red chain, which will be amazing. But for them to spawn, it's quite difficult as they all spawn in the same biome, but they're at different times of day. So what I ended up doing was I built a little outpost here. But while here, I found this really weird Pokemon mini temple thing, and it had loads of unknown writing on the walls and stuff. I wasn't too sure, but it was so cool in here. I even got some leftovers while down here. With this outpost, I'm not going to show all the building, but I was quite happy with how it ended up looking. It's not the best looking building, but I was happy for it, considering I don't consider myself a good builder at all. With this outpost now, I will just sit here for a little while until I get Uxie, Azelf, and Mesprit. I'm not going to make you guys watch the speed up of it all though. Before waiting though, I put all my stuff in a chest that I didn't really want and kept it here. So first, Uxie ended up spawning in the afternoon for me, which is amazing. This one was a really quick spawn. After Uxie, Mesprit ended up spawning in the morning, which was brilliant. And this one was quite quick as well. But then came the longest one, which was Azelf. And even though I found the Azelf quite far out, it wouldn't get in the Pokeball to start off with. So it ended up failing my entire team, and I caught it out of battle. But before I actually obtain the red chain now, I have to get that happiness all the way to the max level, and also get each of them to level 60. So level 50 and 140 happiness isn't enough. I had decided that I needed to go out and find more of these mini gyms, and even the main gyms, so I can get the max amount of levels and do this as quick as possible. I also realized that these gyms have very similar Pokemon in them. There was even this new village that I found, which looked amazing. It was like a mini mountain village, and I even got an Excadrill while here. But like I said, a lot of the gyms seem to have the same Pokemon, so I sort of was able to build my team up and tackle the gyms easily, because I knew what was coming out. Like each level 40 trainer would have an Unpheasant and an Arbor, and each level 30 trainer would have a Carbink and a Meowth. But because there were so many, and I could only battle them once a day, I had to go exploring so much more. And because I had to go exploring, I found so many more new biomes, like these rainbow beaches over the ocean, which look absolutely beautiful. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, let me know your favorite Steel-type Pokemon in the comments. I really want to see which is your favorite. With it as well, let me know if I actually used it in this video. I even found a mushroom bar while exploring, which is one of the most extreme biomes to actually find. In a normal playthrough, this would be amazing. I also found this new desert area, and it wasn't just having mini gyms, it had this temple area, which was able to summon Dialga himself. And the way this looked, I knew this had to be the area that I summoned Dialga in. While here as well, it wasn't just that. There was also a mega camera that ended up spawning on me. And it gave me a Steelium Z, which meant I could now use Steel-type Z moves, which is amazing. There was then this raid den, and there was something different about the Mantike here. And I couldn't believe it when I actually realized it. But this was a shiny Mantike. That's another shiny Pokemon that I can't capture because it's not a Steel-type. I've never seen them in the raid dens either, but it was a really cool shiny to find, definitely. After a little bit of time now, though, I was able to have Uxie, Azelf, and Mesprit all to level 60. I just needed the happiness up, but I also needed the Adamant Orb. And the only place I could see that I could actually get the Adamant Orb was in the end. So I would have to get materials so that I could go to the end. So that's just what I did, and I needed to do it ASAP. So I ended up killing as many Abras and Magmars as I could. I started off with the Abras as they were in the forest, quite easy to find, was able to get enough end pearls. I then went to the deserts and killed as many Magmars as possible, and with these two now, I could combine it to make the Eyes of Ender. I just want to say as well, I'm terrible at normal Minecraft, so I'm not going to show all of this. I ended up making myself some armor because I was pretty sure I was going to have to take on the Ender Dragon. I made my way down to the stronghold and was able to get in pretty quick. Soon after, I found myself the end pole. I filled up with the Eyes of Ender, had a last little look to see if there was any chests sneaking around before entering the end. And once there, I realized I did have to defeat the Ender Dragon. Now, I could do this normally, like in normal Minecraft. I'd go and shoot the towers down pretty easily. Or I could do this the Pokemon trainer, the Pixelmon trainer way, which is getting my Corviknight out and flying around taking down all the towers. This was a lot more fun than just shooting from the ground. Once I had taken down all the towers, though, I could take out the Ender Dragon. But because he wasn't really meant to be here, he kept disappearing while I was trying to hit him. He's not a Pokemon, so he's not really meant to be in the game. I did end up taking out the Ender Dragon, though, and I actually somehow beaten Minecraft in Pixelmon. I then couldn't believe it when I made it to the End Islands, and these biomes, oh my god. I thought the overworld biomes looked good, but the end biomes were so beautiful. I think this might be my favorite biome in the game. Just look at it. It's a massive field. Oh, it's so cool. I ended up finding myself my first NC, but it didn't have an adamant orb in it, unfortunately. I did end up finding a second end city, though, this one being a lot smaller, but it did have a ship. And on the ships, you can get elytras. So I ended up checking the main area, had nothing, though. But when I got to the ship, I knew I had to get the elytra. So I got myself the elytra, but I checked the chest as well. And even though the first chest had nothing in it, the second chest had the adamant orb. And that meant I could go back and I could get Dialga as soon as the happiness was up on Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. While running around, though, getting the happiness up, I found a shiny Scyther. Finally, a shiny I can actually use. This might be my 5th or 6th shiny I've found in these 100 days. And it's finally one I can use. After getting the happiness maxed out, I got first the Ruby of Knowledge. I then got the Ruby of Willpower. And finally, the Ruby of Emotion. And combining these 3 gems, I can create the red chain. Putting the red chain onto the altar and then placing the adamant orb inside. With this, Dialga was summoned. And oh my god, Dialga is so cool looking. I can't deny it. It's definitely up there on my legendaries. Luckily though, because this thing is considered a box art legendary, the capture wasn't too hard. And I now had the ruler of time on my team, Dialga. I had to fly around and giving him a spin to let the world know that we now rule the time. We are 100% completing these 100 days with the strongest team. I evolved my Scyther into a shiny Sizzle, which is amazing. And I then went round and needed to level up Sizzle loads. I ended up finding this weird looking tree, which actually had a Master Ball loot inside. And what do I get from it? A Master Ball itself, which is brilliant. I then knew I had to level up Sizzle as much as possible and everyone else. So I wanted them to around level 60. So I took on raid dens, went to the mini gyms. I even took on an Urshifu tower, bosses. I went back to Ultra Space. I did so much just to try and level my team. And I ended up getting them all to around level 60. It took a couple of days though. I also didn't want to take on the grass gym once again. So I wanted to find a new gym. But while doing so, I can believe it when I saw a Jirachi had spawned in the mountains. And I actually found it. Another Steel-type legendary Pokemon. And with my newly acquired Master Ball, this capture was really easy. And now that means we have 3 Steel-type legendaries. However, what happened next, I couldn't believe it again. Even though we just had a legendary Jirachi spawn, behind us, another shiny spawn. But it was a shiny Vampy. Even though it's such a nice shiny and such cool Pokemon, it's not a Steel type. So I did what I do to all our shinies. And I ended up taking it out. If only you were a Steel type Vampy. With that now, I went exploring and I needed to find a new gym. But these gyms are really tough to find. And the only one I could actually find was one of the grass gyms again. I can still take on the gym. I just would have liked to take on either, I think it's the fire or ground gym. With the grass gym now found, I healed up my team and then went to take on the first trainer. And they had leveled 91s and just beat me. But all that is because of Zacian being so high leveled. So I decided to make a decision, which was to put Zacian in the box and away. Once I put Zacian away, something really odd happened, and Zacian actually spawned in the forest. They must have seen it and been like, no, we're not letting you put one of us away. So another one spawned. I couldn't believe my luck, and I searched around for it and actually found it in the village still. I flew down with Dialga, and because, again, it's a box art legendary, it was pretty easy to capture. With this now, it's a level 70 Zacian, so it's actually more usable than the level 91. However, its moveset wasn't that great, so I decided I wouldn't use it and I would just leave it in the box. So I now had 2 Zacians in my box. With this now, though, I could actually take on one of the trainers and actually beat them. But I had no chance against the rare trainer who had level 108 and the legendary trainer who had level 118. That is ridiculous. It was then time for the gym leader. And the first thing he does, he G-maxes his Rillaboom. How do I stand a chance against a G-Max Rillaboom the size of the gym? The battle went downhill from here, though. The Ferrothorn was stalling me out, and even when I tried to use Earth Power to do a bit of damage, they switched to Shaman Sky, avoided the attack, and it ended up using its own Earth Power and taking out Dialga. I couldn't beat the gyms. Even though we failed to defeat the gyms, we created such a strong Steel-type team, we actually caught a shiny and a legendary Pokemon. I would still consider this a very successful 100 days. Thanks for watching, everyone.